Hello.
We are on Samech Dalid.
Yep.
Tanya Gabi Beitzim. Elaine Simone Beitzim.
Ernie.
Samech Dalid 64.
Okay.
Tanya Gabi Beitzim. Elaine Simone Beitzim. These are the signs of a kosher egg. Kol shekoderes val gulgolos. It has to be round and spherical. Rosha echad kad, rosha echad chad. One end is round, the other end is tapered. Torah. Then it's a kosher egg. I mean, it's a bird. It's an egg from a kosher bird. We're on Samech Dalet. We said the following are the simonim of kosher eggs. They have to be round and spherical. One end has to be round, the other tapered. But shnei roshei kadin or shnei roshei chadin, if both ends are either round or both ends are tapered, then it's a non-kosher egg tmein. Chel bon mi bachutz, if the white is on the outside, v'chelmon mi bifnim, and the yellow's on the inside, tahora. Chelmon mi bachutz v'chelbon mi bifnim. If the yellow's on the outside and the white's on the inside, tmeya. Chelmon v'chelbon muravin zeh bazeh. If you see the yellow and the white mixed up, biyadushu beitzas sheretz. So that's the egg of a sheretz, of a creepy, one of the creeping creatures, right? All of them you can't eat. There are 8 of them that convey tumah. And we'll see that the reason we have to know about the egg is because you want to know whether it's going to be metame or not. Now, we learned yesterday that Shmuel said that if you buy an egg from a goy, he has to tell you from what species it is so that you can check that he's selling you these eggs and you can look at a species and see what their eggs look like, and you can hold him so he's not lying. So, but if you were just giving us simonim for kosher eggs, what do I need? Just take a look. If the egg meets the criteria for kashrus, what do we care that he knows which kind of bird it's from? And for the Gemara, lo tzricha de chatuchos. The eggs were cut open. There's no shell anymore. Fine. Live dog bechelmon bechelbon. If it's cut open, you have this simon that the white has to be on the outside. Betrufas beka'ara. So you beated it. The person had already mixed it up in a bowl, so you can't tell about where the yolk and where the white was. Fred the Gemara by Gavna Mizavnimina. Can you buy a mixed up egg from a goy? Let's say you have a treif chicken and it lays eggs. You're not allowed to sell those eggs to a goy. Ella im kain trufa b'ka'ara, but you can crack them open and mix them up and sell that to a goy. Lefichach ein lokim en beitzim trufas b'ka'ara, and then there's a din that you can't buy a mixed up egg from a goy. So that allows you to sell treif eggs that are mixed up to a goy, one of the reasons you can't sell a treif egg to an egg from a treifa bird to a goy, he'll turn around and sell it to a Jew, and the Jew won't know that it's from a treif animal. So this will take care of that. But then we're talking about unbeaten eggs with Shmuel. So we go back, so just check what the configuration of the white and the yellow was, and you know whether it's kosher or not. What do you have to ask the goy any questions? Elam Rav Zer simonim lav d'oraisa. These simonim that we just gave, they're not given by Moshe. It's just a Masorah. Over many years, the Chachamim observed it, and there are exceptions to this. So therefore, you can't rely on just those simonim. And when we were talking about the kosher birds, we said 8 of them are a suffix. Now, why should they be a suffix? Livduk bebeitzim to do. Check their eggs. If they meet the criteria for a kosher egg, you know the bird is kosher. El Shmami, we can't rely on that because simonim love the raisa. It's not enough. If then you can't rely on it, why did the Baraisa teach us this halacha about the simonim of eggs? So hachikom, shnei roshei kadin or shnei roshin kadin. If both ends of the eggs are round or both are tapered, then you know ochelmon mibachutz v'chelmon v'tim, or the yellows on the outside, the whites on the inside. Then you know vaday tmeya. We're dealing with a non-kosher egg. Reish echad v'chad reish echad, reish echad chad. Reisha chad kad. If one is tapered and the other is round, and the white is on the outside and the yellow is on the inside, and and the goy says to you, it comes from this and this bird, and it was a kosher bird. Then you can rely on what the goy told you because you can check him up on it. Bistama, if he doesn't tell you the specific bird he got it from, lotismochale, then you can't rely, even though it has simonim. The ikad orva dedami lediona. There are raven eggs that look similar to a pigeon. So we need all of these criteria. By the way, tomorrow we're going to learn at 6 o'clock. Mario, I can't hear you.
But I thought you were going to say 6:30 tomorrow.
I'm sorry. Is the mincha is 7:30?
Yeah.
Okay, 6:30 then.
Okay.
Amar Mar. Chelbon v'chelmon muravin zebazeh. If you open the egg and the white and the yellow are mixed up, biyadusha beitas asheretz. It's a sheretz. Now, l'may hilchasa. I mean, it's certainly not kosher, so it's going to be prohibited to eat because it's only kosher if the white's on the outside, the yellow's on the inside. So what else do I learn from the fact that now I know that it's an egg of a sheretz? If there's an embryo there and there's a piercing to the shell, it will convey tumah because the embryo is dead and it's a sheretz, and a dead sheretz will convey tumah by touch if it's the size of a lentil bean. The tum of a bird is only metame bebeis abliya when you swallow it. And if it's pierced, a person's hair could technically touch this embryo inside. Maybe you can't eat any sheretz, but not every sheretz is metame tuma. A snake is not one of the shmona shrotzim. So if it's a sign of a sheretz and a snake is a sheretz, it's not necessarily going to convey tumah. Different halacha. That if there was an embryo there and you ate it, because there's also shrotzim that are of birds that fly. The ophio faith, right? But these are creepy crawly; they don't fly. So you have to distinguish. It's not a sheretz of a bird, but it's a sheretz, and therefore you get makas for eating a sheretz, a sheretz la'aretz. Yachi mayer yeditmeya, but that would hold even by an embryo of a kosher bird. So why are you dealing just with a kosher, non-kosher bird? Afilu Doranami, the Tanya, kol asheretz asheretz la'aretz. L'rabbi sefrochim shlo niftachu eineim. If you have a chicken, and you have a chicken there whose eyes have not opened, you would also get malchus for eating a kosher embryo. The Gemara says midrabanan, but embryos of kosher birds, it's not midoraisa. It's only a gzered rabbanu cross machtab alma. But eating the embryo of a non-kosher bird or shrotzim, so that would be either sheretz ha'ofef. You ate the sheretz of a bird, you ate the sheretz of a creepy crawling thing, that you would actually get malchus for. Torah Rabbana. Giyule beitzi mutaros. If you cook non-kosher eggs with kosher eggs, there's no taste that is emitted from the non-kosher eggs that will make the kosher eggs treif. Beitzi muzaros, which are unfertilized eggs, and a hen sits on it, so they become addled. And I looked that up. It means like rotten. They smell, but it's not necessarily. But there's no embryo there. So nefesh yafa tochlim. In fact, somebody who's not that picky can eat it. But nimsalem kordam, if there's a blood there, zorikas adam v'ochlas ashar. Just get rid of the blood, and you can eat the remainder of the egg. So it depends where you find this blood. We're talking about it's a fertilized egg, but the fertilization hasn't extended. If it's in one little area, you can get rid of just the blood and eat the rest. If the kesher is like, it's where the embryo begins to form in the egg. So if you find it there, then you can get rid of it and eat the rest of it. But if the blood is found anywhere else, you have to get rid of the whole thing. Because it could be that the embryo has already sort of started its development throughout the egg. And I'm sure that's how if we find blood, we assume that the embryo is anywhere. You have to get rid of it. And if the blood is found on the white of the egg, then it's okay if you get rid of it. If you find it on the yolk, the whole egg is prohibited. My time at the shoda tichla bekula, because the embryo is now throughout the egg. That whoever learned this price in front of Abaya, they taught it in the opposite way, that if the blood was on a yolk, that the rest of it is okay. But Abaya who detarts the nila, but Abaya corrected it to have it the way we learn it. Amar Chizkiah. Minayin lebeitzas tmei she asur min haTorah. The egg of a non-kosher bird, you cannot eat it min haTorah. Shneamar, the es bas ha'ayana. The ayana is an ostrich. And what's the bas ayana? Which means the egg of the ostrich. First of all, a bas, it doesn't give live birth. It lays eggs. Ella ezazu beitzatmeh. We're referring to the egg of the ostrich, which is also treif. Dilmainu shmayu. Maybe the name of an ostrich is basayana. Lo sakatet. Deceive. In Eicha it says basamilach zar kayenim bamidbar. That the daughter of Am Yisrael is cruel like ostriches in the desert. So the Gemara says, no. The full name is Basayana. V'lo v'ha Ksiv eser mispeit katanim ve'echel bivnos yana. How could they be in mourning if it's an egg? Chayana zusha mitabelas al banah. An ostrich, I'll have avelis, because even ostrich mourns its young. I vaksi v'shachnu sham benos yana. Benos hayana dwell there. So how can you say that it refers to an egg? So bayana zusha shochenes in banah. Yeah, ostriches live with their children. I vaksiv techabdena chayas aseda tani muvnos yana. That the animals will honor me and the ostriches. Beitza bas meimar shira. That means they're singing shira. An egg can't sing shira. El ksiv ha'ayana, ksiv bas ayana. Sometimes the Torah will write the ostrich as a ayana only, and sometimes it will name it the bas ayana. The shiny hacha, when the Torah lists the bas ayana among the non-kosher birds, it's not part of the bird's name. The Pasuk Safar L'Shtei Tevos, because the Sofer writes it in two words, Bas and Ayana. So we'll stop here. Okay. Everybody have a good Shabbos. Happy 250th birthday to America.